How's it going, guys? It's your boy Night Owl. We got another one from the liberal hive mind today. This one's probably gonna be pretty fucking rambunctious. See what he has to say.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And here's your meme of the day, brought to you by 5mind.com. You know, a lot of the times I want to open the video by setting the tone, and usually that means picking a single word and just saying it with a bunch of passion. And there's only one appropriate word to start this video: finally. It appears we're finally going there. It appears the president is finally putting the Insurrection Act on the table, and honestly, I don't blame him one bit. In fact, I'd say it's a little bit late, but of course it's always better late than never. It's time to get serious about tackling this issue of left-wing domestic terrorism. And of course, their enablers at the highest level. The left has been escalating and escalating in their domestic terrorist acts, and of course that calls for an escalation in response. Let me update you guys on what's going on here. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so let's start off with this. President Donald Trump is dropping the hammer on these Minnesota morons. He just hit us with this update on Truth Social. Quote, "If the corrupt politicians of Minnesota don't obey the law and stop the professional agitators and insurrectionists from attacking the patriots of ICE, who are only trying to do their job, I will institute the Insurrection Act," which many presidents have done before me, and quickly put an end to the travesty that is taking place in that once great state. And again, going back to the key word of this video,
He says that a lot, man, but I get that he has to put out like some sort of like actual notice like before he does it as like a warning, but like they've been saying that shit for fucking ever, man. Like I want to see some action. Like I get that like they can't just roll in there and use brute force, right? It'll look bad and they don't want to look bad. I get that, but like they're dragging their feet too fucking much and people are getting hurt. And now like the thing with like the Renee Good shooting and like this trans kids that lost an eye, like, fuck them, right? Like they were out in the streets doing wrong. I don't want to say they necessarily deserve what they got, but at the same time, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. You can't expect to go to riots and assault police officers and come out of it clean, like just. But he really does need to put a stop to that shit. Like, there's gonna be more people getting hurt, and like people are bringing babies to these fucking riots, man. Like, we're gonna see hurt babies. Nobody wants to see hurt babies, man. Like, that's just shit needs to stop and stop now.
finally. Although, actually in hindsight, maybe that's not the right word. Saying finally almost implies that it's a done deal. Maybe I should reform my position here. I guess I could do it in the form of a response to President Trump. Stop talking. And I mean this with all due respect. Let's not talk and threaten the Insurrection Act. No, just institute it at this point. Not only is it time, but it's been time. Once again, we're in the same situation here with Democrats unleashing an entire mob of left-wing thugs literally engaging in terrorism and insurrection. ICE agents, journalists are under attack. Last night, a federal ICE vehicle was destroyed, it was opened up, and a mob of left-wing thugs ended up stealing federal property. That included law enforcement-issued firearms, as well as potentially sensitive government documents.
No, 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 no. It was not potentially sensitive documents. I saw the uncensored pictures. They were literally warrants. They were names of officers. They were maps to where they're staying. They stole actual like federally like registered firearms that were for the agents and their ammo. All kinds of information and federal goodies are now in the hands of actual fucking terrorists. And like this shit should have happened way back in the day, man. Like he should have insurrected these people back during like the BLM riots when they were burning Kenosha to the ground. Before Kyle Rittenhouse ever had to fucking shoot a couple pedophiles. Like the shit has gone on far too fucking long, and far too many people have lost their livelihoods, their lives, and just a lot of other things because people are too much of a pussy to do their job.
Hey, listen, I'll tell y'all now, they own us.
My friends, these are not peaceful protesters. This isn't a group of people simply chanting down the street, showing up at town hall and making their voice heard. These are out of control thugs, mobs, terrorizing the streets. These are radicals attacking law enforcement, endangering lives, and sabotaging the mass deportation efforts that American voters voted for. They're using violence and intimidation as a means to a political end, and that, my friends, is the textbook definition of terrorism. You know, maybe it's not the scary Islamic terrorism. We're not at the level of suicide bombs and car bombings, but we don't necessarily have to get to that level to fall into the definition of terrorism and insurrection.
What do you mean? You literally have people who believe in their heart of hearts that they're fighting Nazis, and they're gonna, like, shield these Somali fucking fraudsters with their goddamn lives. We literally just had a woman, a 37-year-old woman, a mother. Like, she might not have been the greatest mother in the world, might not have been of the most sound mind, but she was still a human being. And she died for her misguided beliefs. I feel like that's the same as jihad, brother. Like, I really honestly fucking do. Like, they're literally gonna throw themselves at these people regardless of the consequences.
No mistake, that's exactly what this is, plain and simple. It's time to stop tiptoeing, it's time to stop playing it safe. From BLM to the Tesla attacks to now this, it's time to drop the hammer. It's time to address this issue of left-wing terrorism. You know, everybody's viewing this thing from political implications, thinking about elections and polls and this, that, and the other. I don't think about that, honestly. I think about, first of all, what's right, and secondly, I think about Charlie Kirk. We're just gonna forget that they murdered one of our own? Frankly, it's time to start doing exactly what the Democrats did. Remember when they claimed the country was facing insurrection on January 6th? No stone was left unturned. They found every single person present on that day, locked them up, and threw away the key. And that wasn't even an insurrection. This objectively is. I think it's time to stop playing it safe. Enough with taking the cowardly political road of least resistance. Just do it. I'm not scared of this notion that Democrats are going to weaponize it. Democrats will weaponize anything. They're already making the same argument. They're already calling ICE the Gestapo. Donald Trump's a fascist. No matter what he does, it's the same freaking narrative. I understand the sort of victim-blaming situation that's going on here. The arsonists yelling fire. You know, this is exactly what Democrats want. They want Donald Trump to institute the Insurrection Act so they could yet again play victim. They could point the finger at President Trump and say, oh, he's declaring a martial law. He's declaring himself king. I've seen the posts like this one from the Lincoln Project. This has been the plan all along. Foment violence and chaos.
The Lincoln Project has no fucking credibility whatsoever. The guy that runs it is a straight up pedo. Like, he has been on he's been on record essentially, like, having groomed and approached young men for sex. So, like, anything this account posts is just like utter bullshit.
In the streets of Minneapolis, implement the Insurrection Act, declare martial law, suspend elections. I get the angle. I understand how backwards that is. The Democrats have been planning this. What he's describing there is actually pretty accurate, except for the first sentence where he says this has been the plan all along in reference to Trump. What he means is this has been the Democrat plan all along, to foment violence and chaos, to force Donald Trump's hand into implementing the Insurrection Act. You know, Democrats have been fear-mongering about the Insurrection Act for months now.
This is Gestapo-like behavior. Plainclothes officers wearing masks are terrorizing immigrants.
The ICE issue is alarming beyond words. Masked men jumping out of unmarked cars, people disappearing, no due process. We're being hyperbolic. If you're a black and brown community, it's here. Wake up.
Dangers that we saw in Nazi Germany, especially in the earliest days of Nazi Germany, are the dangers that we need to react to now. They're taking people off the streets and sending them away. It's a 5-alarm fire, everyone.
Every single ICE agent who's engaged in this aggressive overreach and are trying to hide their identities from the American people will be unsuccessful in doing that. This is not the 1930s, and every single one of them, no matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes, will of course be identified.
Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets. They're in unmarked vans, wearing masks, being shipped off to foreign torture dungeons. No chance to mount a defense. Not even a chance to kiss a loved one goodbye, just grabbed up by masked agents, shoved into those vans, and disappeared. We need to make sure that there's a firewall that they have to come through before they get to them.
Early evidence that we've seen from rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contain messages that are anti-ICE in nature. Again, this is just the most recent example of this type of attack.
They believe it's going to be in their favor. I say
I honestly cannot stand all these fucking politicians that do nothing but like fucking like Nazi post, bro. It's so fucking bad. It's so fucking stupid. It's so low IQ. And like, you know, the irony of it is that they act more like Nazis than anybody fucking else. Like they literally have their own clan of brown shirts that go around and like enforce party regulations. Like if you don't speak what they speak, then you're just not on their side, and it's these are literally the worst type of people. These are the weakest type of men. Like men like this should never be put in office. Like I cannot stress this enough. These people are the real Nazis. These people are the real Gestapo. The motherfucking second, if they possibly get back into power, I swear to God, they will round everybody the fuck up that they don't agree with and put them in jail, put them in some type of work camp, or just straight up kill them. It's it's honestly insane the way people like believe this shit. It's I can't. I have no words. Like
they test it. I mean, truly, what is there to lose? The Democrats engaging in yet again another pathetic 2026 psyop? Vote for us because Donald Trump is a fascist. He declared the Insurrection Act, as if we haven't heard a million iterations of the exact same piece of rhetoric a million times before. As if they aren't going to say the exact same thing in reference to the ICE crackdowns in the first place. Give them what they want. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't...
That's literally what they did on January 6th, man. January 6th was just like a tame freaking I don't want to call it an invasion, but like, you know, people weren't supposed to be there, right? Like there's footage of people busting the gates, but I feel like that's all like been proven to be manufactured by the feds, man. There were so many feds in the crowd at January 6th that like none of that shit was organic. But that's exactly what they did with that. They arrested grandmothers. They arrested old ladies, old men. They arrested like teenagers. They arrested people that weren't even fucking there. And they violated rights to do that shit. There was that one guy, I think he was like a Patriot Prayer member or like some sort of like a gun club militia. And they literally they went to the safe company that had his the brand of his gun safe and got like a backdoor code for his gun safe to go into his gun safe and like violate his fucking rights. Like these people are absolute clowns.
Matter. Screw the political calculus. Screw the polls. Just do the right thing. And I think, honestly, in the end, you will win. Sure, there's that minority of people, the blue anon freaks, who look at all this anti-ICE terror and they're simply horrified, but they're a minority. Most people see what's going on in the streets right now, and they don't like it. You're telling me that if the president does the right thing and finally holds these violent actors accountable, that it's going to backfire on him? I have a hard time seeing that. It's time to stop treating this like a small political issue. This is an existential threat to the nation, to allow the Democrats to continuously engage in this insurrection behavior, for them to foment and incite violence endlessly, to cause chaos across the streets for the latest psyop that they think is going to help mobilize people to the polls in the next election. The Democrats are advocating for mob rule. They're tearing the country apart. And the idea that you would sit cowardly by and let it happen or be too scared to do something about it, as ICE agents are facing a full-on onslaught every single day, it's just simply wrong. Screw the politics. Do the right thing. This is a nation of laws, a nation of political tradition deeply rooted in decency, in debate and discussion of ideas, in peaceful coexistence. And the Democrats are hellbent on ripping it all down. You simply cannot let it happen. And just from a standpoint of law enforcement, what they are doing is highly illegal. These are not constitutionally protected peaceful protests. And you know that if right-wingers were doing 1/10 of what Democrats are currently getting away with, the Democrats would have already declared actual martial law. They'd hunt every single person down, upend and destroy their lives. They'd label all of us terrorists, domestic terrorists, ultra-MAGA threats to the homeland. We already saw that with what they tried to manufacture on January 6th. It's time to stop playing by their rules and start setting the damn rules. This violence, this terror, these intimidation tactics must be handled accordingly, and there are laws on the books to do so, so do it. If there was ever a moment to declare the Insurrection Act in the modern political era, it would be now. At least that's one man's opinion. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Man, that's just. I don't really have much to add on to that, man. I already kind of ranted it all out, you know? Like, just. These people are nuts. They're hell-benting on burning the country to a fucking crisp just to get what they want. They'll go through everybody and their fucking mom to do it. Like, it's. Something has to be done, and it has to be done swiftly and decisively. That's where I'll leave it.